IfSunSets is a survival game where you strand on a cursed island after getting attacked by a kraken. You are not completely alone though. You have this little fairy companion who's kind of sassy, but helps you out nonetheless. This game works on a day-night cycle, and each part is very different. During the day, you are doing your usual survival game stuff, gathering resources, crafting items, building bases. You know how it goes. But at night is where it has elements from 7 Days to Die. You are basically in defense mode. Waves of these drowned, zombie-like creatures come after you, and you need to survive for about 6 minutes through 2 rounds of attacks. The base building becomes really important here, because you can and should set up defenses, like spike walls and other traps, to help defend yourself. Fortunately, the AI of these things is not the brightest, but they can still pose a threat if you're unprepared. Besides these normal enemies, there are also larger ones that specialize in trying to destroy your buildings, so taking them down as soon as possible is important. For more sophisticated fights, the game does offer boss fights as well. These are scattered across the map and offer blueprints and rewards. As far as I have seen, these are positioned as part of the progression, so you are meant to eventually craft better gear and level up, so you can take them on eventually. You can fight them multiple times as well, with a few days cooldown. Speaking of the map, it is rather huge, especially keeping in mind this is made by a small team of 8 people, if I'm not mistaken. There are biomes of course, and there is underwater exploration, and each area has its own challenges and creatures. Combat appears to be pretty straightforward. There are basic melee weapons like clubs and spears, but you also have ranged options like a pistol, grenades and a bow of course. Your fairy companion adds a combat element as well, with her burst attack that can help deal with groups. The night system has actually seen some pretty nice changes, like instead of just getting harder and harder with each passing day, it now scales with your level, which is more manageable, as you don't have that extreme time pressure that basically forces you to advance fast. They have also implemented an automatic difficulty decrease if you keep dying. The game has some RPG elements as well. You level up and put points into different skill trees. Your fairy companion can be upgraded as well, using special stones you can find. There's not really a lot to say about the survival mechanics. It's the typical stuff like health, hunger and thirst. The game has some backstory going on about an ancient civilization that messed around with life force magic and ultimately ended up cursing the island. Part of your goal is figuring out how to break this curse. There are various artifacts and relics that tie into the story. The game will provide you with options to adjust the number of hordes, adjust the length of day and night, and even prevent hordes altogether. This game is going into early access with a price tag of $20 and a 10% discount on launch. Within the core day and night loop, they plan to add additional areas, bosses, weapons, and a more extensive progression system. There is co-op for 2 players right away. This will be expanded to 4 players in the near future. And that sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.